game number 2 as we head into the drafting phase, and you can already hear the bans popping now. The first one is going to be Matilda banned out. I believe that will be by the side of Legion Esports again with the Cho, so not much deviation from game 1. Same for RRQ Akira.
I think it's very interesting as well that RRQ Akira are choosing to ban out Fanny despite being on the blue side. This is a hero you always force red side to ban, and it immediately gives people the impression that they're just not comfortable playing the hero.
Yeah, it's something you told me backstage in the green room where Fanny is the must ban, and the only reason that you don't ban Fanny is if you know the enemy jungler have no idea or has very low proficiency on that hero. So RRQ Akira sticks with the same 3 bans as game 1, Hilda being the 3rd.
Alright, still pretty standard here. The Cho and Matilda specifically focusing on RRQ Akira's early game so that Legion Esports doesn't get snowballed against is a pretty good shout. They did allow the Zeus in through earlier. They managed to handle the Zeus in. But it looks like, yeah, they're gonna ban the Loyi.
Alright, RRQ Akira, do you have the guts to do it again? Because I think with how Legion Esports beat that Juice in game 1, it's not going to come out this time, at least not as the first pick. Now Legion have an option to go for Juicin. Will they go for it?
I want to see them lock it in, right?
Me too.
I just want to see the player go, hey, 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 hey.
I walk right into that. I hate myself so much.
It would be great, especially with the Hylos coming out now. Like, that's a hero that you can quite easily pick up.
Yeah, we say that about the first game, right? When there's a Hylos and Gato Kacha, but I think circumstances are slightly different in game 1. The Bruno and Hayabusa were the big problems. Unless you go Hayabusa Juicin, which is a slightly rarer opening. So they go for the Suyo, but the Juicin is going to be that option.
If this was like a month or 2 ago and you saw a team get a Zeus-in Suyo opening on the red side, you would wonder what the blue side was doing. But because the meta has shifted, these 2 heroes have both become a little less prio than before. But being able to lock them both in at the same time this early on is still pretty surprising.
And Christmas does come early for some people. We say that about the Juicin for RRQ Akira. That one ended up being a loss, and of course it's mostly due to their own blunders. I think if you are RRQ Akira, you probably should be looking at your jungler. The Alpha is the most direct choice into the Suyo, the Aurora as well for the control. So we see the Aurora for RRQ Akira.
Aurora with Hylos, so that's gonna be a pretty solid combination. And the Joy coming out, picking it before Legion has the chance to ban it away. This can be a very annoying hero to deal with if you don't have enough crowd control.
Not the easiest hero to pick up as well, especially when Joy is so mobile and has insane burst damage to just remove you from the fight if you are a mage or a marksman. But the Gato Kacha might solve it, right? As now Electrifying Beast doesn't give you crowd control immunity, you get a good taunt with the Gato Kacha, you can still manage him.
Yeah, it's somewhat manageable, but I'd still prefer something that has a bit more reliable crowd control for now. Gatot is fine, but you really hope to get some solid lockdown, and even better, a hero that can invade and mess with the Joy at level 1. The Khalid is still open, but probably will get banned out after this.
I would be surprised if RRQ Akira decides to, you know what, you can have Khalid. We are not letting Luis play it anyway, just take it. Take it. The full base is still up as well. Takashi played it in game 1, but it's actually Legion that bans it out.
If Legion is banning it out, it means that they want to play an assassin themselves. So the Hayabusa is still open.
I mean, they have Suyo, right? And unless you're telling me that it's Suyo XP.
Yeah, my bad.
I'm
starting to forget what happens earlier in the drafts.
Don't worry. Blackouts happen pretty often.
Yeah.
I think it's just I think we're just aging.
Nah, Joy stole all my electricity.
That's a good one. I actually have no follow-up for that. I have seen Suyo XP. It never works out well. The chip, though, that does get banned out by RRQ Akira. So it's another... I know Legion banned out chip in the previous game, and both of us didn't really like it. But this chip ban, I guess, is a lot more understandable, right? You want to protect the Joy in the jungle. There's no Khalid, but there's still chip.
Yeah, this chip ban is way better compared to what we saw before, because yeah, the best way to stop a Joy is to find her before she's ready to fight, because she does have to build up her electrifying beats, right? So chip is a great way of doing this, and with no Loyi in the game as well, that means that King doesn't have to worry about people suddenly appearing randomly in the jungle.
So Legion themselves banned out the Bruno. So clearly they're going for a slightly different approach. I would not be surprised if it's something like a Harith or Beatrix. I wonder how does the Harith fare in this current meta into the Joy. I would assume it's still not as bad with the Gatot. Beatrix isn't too bad of an option as well. Or unless RRQ Akira gets the lead and Lunox goes over to Legion, though I don't remember seeing Lunox being played by RRQ.
Yeah, Lunox actually wouldn't be too bad, I think, even for Legion, because the Brilliance is a good way of getting away from Joy. Bruno is already gone. They already banned the 1-1-2, one of the few heroes that can actually outkite a Joy somewhat.
Yeah.
Legion's still gonna go with the Beatrix.
Yeah, just very stable. Now that I think about it, Lunox maybe it's not that good of a pick for RRQ because they already have a lot of magic damage.
Yep.
So Moskov, I guess. What about the Clint, right? I know we have discussion about Clint into Beatrix, you know, the decent poke damage, decent burst from the mid to late game. Can buy Malefic Gun. I've seen some people buy it, but I'm not sure if it's worth getting early on. I think, at least for me, I need to test it a little bit more, but I
think it's not quite as good this game, because there's a Gatot and Suyo on the opposite side. Clint, I think, would be a bit too vulnerable to them.
Moskov, I guess? Natan, right? Late game, I completely forgot about that.
But that would be more magic damage.
There would be more magic damage. Oh, the options are a bit limited. So yeah, Moskov and Arlet.
Yeah, so I like this RRQ draft a lot. Arlet, Aurora, Hylos is...
Oh, wait, what did we say about dealing with a Joy? Franco is your worst nightmare.
But as long as the Joy waits on... Because the Franco is going to be the main form of initiation, right? I don't like Gatot as the main initiator. But if Franco starts the fight first, Joy just has to wait a moment before entering. I'm not like, yes, I get the idea, but I'm not sure if it's the right answer.
And on top of that, not only do Legion Esports have to do with a Joy, you also have the Hylos that can lay out the glorious pathway, you have the Arla that's going to use the Flicker Final Slash. I feel like RRQ Akira have a way better time, have more avenues to jump on Legion than Legion have on them.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if they were going this path, they maybe should have considered Kaja rather than Franco. I feel like he's not been having the best time, but hey, if they're able to get the victory with the Franco here against RRQ Akira, that would be a great hooker for a great show. Let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. The Land of Dawn for game number 2 between Legion Esports and RRQ Akira.
Let me just share a personal experience I had dealing against a Franco, who I have been able to, you know, manage the entire game until he decided to sell his items and start building full damage. So every bloody hunt is a one-shot.
I definitely have experienced damage Franco.
You have no idea how much I hate my life.
That is something that we see in pubs quite a lot. I also don't like it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I do that.
I do not do that. I cannot land hooks.
So you just flicker, bloody hunt.
Well, I only have so much, but Louise also only has so much. Vengeance already used early on. 1v4, easy first blood for Joe.
You see, Louise, first of all, you are not invincible. You're tanky, but not invincible. Second of all, he has Vengeance, so you don't regen health. Which is pretty weird, because the rest of RRQ Akira weren't even there.
I feel like Revitalize is still kind of better for Hylos anyway, though. Like, I get Vengeance, lets you tank a lot of damage, but Revitalize, I feel like, is even more effective. So, an interesting choice being made here by Louise. A First Blood, not too big of a deal for now, but another hook going to land on Louise, right into the taunt, and another 4-man gank!
What? Wait, did he just stand in front of a Franco?
A little bit.
Huh. You say you are bad at hooking people, but I guess if your target is stationary...
What? Is it really even stationary? I don't even know. I feel like his positioning was a bit strange, but well played on Gnart there. We are literally speechless right now, guys. We don't know what to feel, but Luis will avoid the Blade Surge. Daylight versus Gusta, so close! Gusta actually has the flicker out, so Daylight kind of wins that. Vengeance used early. A beautiful final slash into the Avatar the Guardian, but Turtle still secured by Joe, and he walks away fine.
Man, this Hehe is such a menace as he walks into RRQ Akira and casually uses their ultimate to reposition and survive. So Legion Esports starting off on the right foot already. This high loss is not even level 4 yet, which means now Nart can start moving because he has Bloody Hunt.
So you know that quote from Gusta? Now it's aged badly because the early game from Legion, Bloody Hunt finds Louise once again into the Bennett's range. Gnard, another kill on the Hylos. Louise still only level 3.
Aged like spoiled milk, if I haven't seen one.
Uh-oh, King, he's in the rock. Why did you come here? Your road just died here.
You know, if you tell me that Game 1 and Game 2 will play by the same team, I would not believe you. It's very, very contrasting. And not in a good way if you are RRQ Akira. But this was not the RRQ Akira we saw yesterday. In fact, I say go back to the drawing board. They have not come back from the drawing board.
I think they're still drawing. That's the problem. If anyone in the chat doubted us, so the many times we said that RRQ Akira has been inconsistent recently, I think this is a very good example of what we mean, right?
I don't know. I feel like if you are Joy right now, you are fuming because there's nothing for you. Top side jungle is gone. They lost the top tier 1 in under 4 minutes. That's before turtle number 2. And now your Arlet has to babysit the Joy, and the Hylos is just starving. I'm gonna check in on what the Hylos has. Guess what? Only boots. It doesn't even have the first, half component for an item.
You could say that this does not spark joy for RRQ Akira right now.
Marie Kondo is not impressed.
Yep, 4k gold lead, 4 minutes into the game, 4 kills for Legion Esports. 4 may be an unlucky number for us, Husky, but it sure looks good for Legion right now.
Good lord. Usually I would say that if you are the Hylos in such a vulnerable position, maybe the Elegant Gem is not too bad of an option. At least you get that extra regen, You can only tank so much damage with Vengeance proportionate to your health bar, and if you don't have health bar, then it really doesn't matter.
At least you can get hooked elegantly, right?
I mean, sure, but when that happens, I prefer to survive the encounter.
Maybe so. Gustato actually getting quite a lot of gold up here. They're gonna trade gold shields in the top and bottom lane, so Daylight keeping up, still having the 1k gold lead, nearly taking out the tower by himself actually. RRQ Akira has been forced into such a defensive style of play that they can only move together. And now Gusta actually in trouble, getting caught out, has to jump away from Meow. Glorious Pathway, final slash misses completely.
Alright, that's the retreat right there. Another first item Malefic Gun, this time is by Daylight. You can see that he's out of range of the turret.
Oh, the Bloody Hunt, they found the Joy, and there he goes, blown up into a hook on Tekatsu! Gnard showing us how Franco is meant to be played, and finishes off Sagan at the same time.
That is the Hookmeister right there from Vietnam. Legion Esports delivering on a silver platter. We both agree that, okay, you are a Joy, sure, Franco is a counter, but you gotta wait it out. Well, King didn't even bother waiting, ran straight at a Franco thinking that Daylight will be a target.
Ah, such a mistake there. You see Daylight, yes, that is a good target for you, but your team hasn't scouted the area out yet. You cannot be jumping the gun. It is the same mistakes from game 1.
Oh, you see Daylight, but Nart puts you to bed, so it's forced nap time. You're grounded. You're grounded if you're a Joy. Level 9, 0 and 2, you're running the temporal range, so you're looking to fight early, but now that window has completely closed thanks to this monstrous lead that Legion Esports has. 6k gold lead, 6 minutes into the game, 6 and 0. They can spin the lottery wheel after this.
Yeah, Daylight is getting accelerated so much, and now King, unfortunately the opposite. He's decelerating, getting pulled back a depth. Meow doesn't even mind standing in front. Free Turtle, Legion Esports is playing the entire map.
You know what, I say that the Joy is not that easy to catch, but now I look back and I'm like, okay, it's pretty... King isn't hitting his second ability. Unfortunately, he isn't hitting the tempo of his dash as well, but now it's just a complete disaster. This Joy, as much as I would like to say, still has a chance of recovering. I don't see that angle. Moskov needs a lot more time. He's gonna get a recall back. Thank goodness. If he got found out, Joe would have easily gotten a solo kill.
King has the same amount of farm as Gnard right now, so that's not good, because Joy recently has shifted more into a late game hero, so this slows him down heavily. But if RRQ were able to delay the game another 10 minutes or so, they can actually even things up against Legion. So now is a demonstration of how good the Vietnamese team can push their advantage.
I'm waiting to see if it's going to be any fight
Final
there.
flash, they found one Daylight actually, but he's able to flicker out. Warriors halfway actually keeping Legion in place, but they found King again! Gustav though lands the Spear of Destruction, so trades 1-for-1 with Daylight. That's the interesting flicker, but it's fine as long as he gets out.
I think it's a well-spent flicker because he's aware that he's afraid that Legion Esports might catch up to him, right? But that flicker guarantees enough distance to safely recall. Could shut down onto Daylight. It's going to be quite a decent injection because if you are Gusta, you're looking for your Holy Trinity, and he's still on road to get that Holy Trinity at a decent timing. So all things considered, not too bad for RRQ Akira. I was about to say prior to that fight that it's an early call, but it feels like checkmate. But apparently not. RRQ Akira found some breath of life. All they need to remember is that they have what it takes to jump Legion Esports. Takashi is going to be the one to make it happen. They just need to trust him.
Yeah, it does mean that they have to shift their scaling a little bit on its head. They have to use Gusta's timing to create space for King instead of the other way around. And if they're able to achieve that, then they can actually become quite a threat later on, because Gnard can only lock down one person. So if the Bloody Hunt gets used on the wrong target, RQ Akira can still run them down.
This lore is going to be guaranteed for Legion Esports. And now it's about dealing damage to RRQ Akira. They've done a decent job in stalling that game out, you know, and finally kind of plateauing that gold growth that Legion Esports have been getting the entire game. So they've been able to slow down the snowball a little bit, right? They got some snow plows, they pushed away the incoming avalanche, but it's not done just yet. There's still the tremors, the aftershock of what happened in the first 7 minutes of the game. RRQ Akira needs to keep the inhibitors alive, all of them.
The more towers they can keep, the better it will be for them to prolong the game. Legion not gonna let that happen though. This is a Beatrix we're talking about. The ability to just whittle down towers from afar is unparalleled.
For sure. Gusta.
Oh, the stun! Did he hit anything? He did!
Oh!
He landed on Gnard! But Gnard got the hook! Flicker! Bloody Hunt still connects! Passive popped on Sagan. Meow jumps in, gets pushed into the towers by the final slash. He's in some trouble, but hey, is there to zone him out. Daylight finishing off the mid inhibitor, and they find Luis! He's gone! Double kill for Daylight! Legion are pushing straight in. They are 5v3 currently. Gonna take both top and bottom inhibitors at the same time. That's gonna be a lot of minions for RQ Akira to clear up since they want to keep themselves in this. A final slash lands on all members of Legion, but they have so much burst damage! Daylight goes straight for the crystal, and in an upset, it will be Legion Esports taking down RRQ Akira!
The Vietnamese have done it. They have been able to not only draw blood, but take down the former overlords of the Latam region to an old-fashioned, a comeback in game 1, but a dominating takedown in game number 2, landing the KO punch, and in this case, landing hook after hook after hook. And let me tell you, Sadafa, what makes a good hooker is how you land your hooks on unintended target. That one final pull onto the Aurora sealed the face of RRQ Akira, giving the Mekong region one more shot at a potential wildcard finals on Sunday.
The moment you think that Gnard was in the wrong place because he gave the Moskov a way out, he turns it around and captures an important target that would stop them from pushing into the base. We did not like this, Franco. We thought it would be hard to play. Gnard showed us otherwise.
It's always a different feeling to be proven wrong, but I do like what we saw from Legion Esports. This was the version of Legion that I expected to see on day 1 against Incilio. Clearly what the coach mentioned, Coach Sabo said that they had to go back to the drawing board. They kind of readjusted Joe and just play with comfort picks. Wow, they feel really comfortable and they look the part.
Yeah, they went back to the drawing board. They put a lot of work into their drawing, you know, and it came out as a piece of Gnard.
That is a very good one. What a piece of work he is. I wonder if we'll see the Franco a lot more often. At least we know it's part of his arsenal, something that other teams, or at least tomorrow's opponent for Legion Esports will have to look out for. They've gone through RRQ Akira, they've gone through Incilio. Now there's only one more. The Mongols will be facing off against the Legion Esports tomorrow.
It does mean that Group B is no longer as clear-cut. It's a little bit harder to tell who actually will move on to the next stage of the Grand Finals. We're gonna need to check in on the scoreboard again after this, because this has really rattled my bones here, Husky.
Yeah, a 2-0 victory, right? We said in the previous series, if Nightmare can take one game off of Ulfanar, it would already be a massive, groundbreaking news. I came into this series with the same mindset, but a 2-0 for Legion, that is unprecedented. You look at the post-game stats, near flawless. Again, the only death on the side of Legion Esports is Daylight. Could not catch a break. That was a solo kill by Gusta Lagusta. A decent outplay in that mid lane fight, but overall it's just Legion dominating.
Also 100% kill participation from Gnart on this Franco. 1-0-11, going straight for the fleeting time into the Winter Crown, because he's been doing such a good job already. This is the early game aggression that we know Legion Esports for, and RRQ Akira were not prepared for it this time.
Not at all. Even when you look at how they approached that early game with the, I would say, a decent idea, you know, taking that high loss for themselves, abandoning the thoughts of running that Zusin. Big problem is that they were not on the same page, right? We've saw multiple times that Luis, he's trying to do his part by opening up the map, but without support, it's a very different outcome.
Normally Hylos is able to open up the map somewhat well by himself, but Legion was so quick on the draw. 4 members, multiple times in the first 2 minutes of the game. You are not prepared for that, and going for Vengeance means that you're not able to heal up any of that lost HP either, so you do lose out a little bit on that survivability. Legion Esports made sure that Luis could not play this game, and with no frontline, the rest of RQ is just easy pickings.
It doesn't make it any easier when we blew past the first hurdle and he's still at level 3, right? Really didn't have a good time at all. And you could see how hard it was for Luis. He tanked 50,000 plus damage in a 10.5 minute game.
Yeah, that is
quite
something. Like,
talk about taking a beating.
He doesn't even have that much HP, you know? It's like very overkill. Luis was the main target a lot of the time. And I think a big problem with RRQ Akira is just that they didn't seem to adjust, right? There's no adaptability within the game itself. No matter how they change their draft, it seems like they still approach the game in the same way, with the same expectations that they can each make something happen. Because after Luis got stopped from playing the game, King became the next target.
And on top of that is also understanding the win conditions. I feel like, to add on to what you were saying, RRQ Akira just didn't really realize that, okay, we have Luis, but we also need Takashi to be the tip of the spear. They realized it a bit too late, and by that time, certain blunders are happening. Takashi missing his ultimate, and then they kept trying to start to go for fights. MVP for this game is Franco, played by Nart. Definitely a masterpiece right here in game number 2. 100% kill participation, like you said. 1-0-11, essentially unstoppable.
I feel like the roamers are really starting to show up today. First Apex and now Gnart. They put so much pressure on the map. And even though we said that Franco would be difficult to execute, it would be safer to go for Kaja or something, Gnart shows, hey, I'm gonna show you things with the Franco you've never seen before. Bloody hunt one hero, that hero dies, you hook the next hero behind them. It's like such good gameplay.
You can just marvel at the highlights. Of course, at the very start of the game, this was just under 1 minute. The first blood taken by Joe, and then this one was really weird. Look at the positioning of Luis, right? Gives over a second one to Joe, and the rest is history.
And here, Gnart with the flicker forward into the bloody hunt. Kills the Joy, instantly lands a hook on Tekashi. And then the rest of Legion follow up so quickly. The coordination was beautiful.
But this one was the icing on the cake. Gusta flickers, dodges it, and
oh, that hook!
What?
That hook! I would be fuming.
I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
Ed Hook actually just broke some rules of reality right there.
Hey man, don't question Nart. He knows what he's doing.
And he sure does. MVP of the game. A very clear-cut win from start to finish. So one-sided from Legion Esports. Something you'd never expect.
Is it the quickest game that we have? I know that Tianfeng Yaoguai holds the first and second quickest game, but I feel like this one might have topped it or slot itself into that conversation. Either way, let's take a look at the standings again. By the end of day number 2 of the wild card for M6, Ofenar and Tianfeng Yaoguai stands at the first 2 spots with 2 points each, separated by games win and losses. Nightmare Esports and GK Esports officially out of the running for Swiss stage. For Group B, Incilio leads the pack with 2 full points. Legion Esports and RRQ Akira are going to be tied for second, both with 1 point and same games match win-loss. The Mongols unfortunately have already waved goodbye to the wild card because they have lost 2 games.
So what is going to determine things is going to be tomorrow when RRQ Akira will go up against Incilio, currently topping the group. Group B definitely looking a lot tighter in comparison to Group A, but we still don't actually know who the 2 teams moving on to the grand finals will be.
Let's take a look at tomorrow's schedule. This is going to be the highlight for some of our teams and viewers out there. Starting off with our first match, Nightmare Esports takes on GK Esports, followed by the Mongols against Legion Esports. And then the third best of 3, we have RRQ Akira against Incilio, one of the most anticipated one. Top it all off with Ofenar taking on Tianfeng Yaoguai. Tomorrow we will find out which 2 teams will earn that slot to play a best of 5 on Sunday and eventually qualify for Swiss.
The last 2 matches are definitely going to be the most exciting ones to watch, with RRQ Akira facing off against the team currently topping their group to try and make it forward and be another appearance at M Series. And the last match being a battle between the fan favorites Ofenar and an unexpected dark horse DFYG, both still undefeated.
Yeah, the Vikings in wolf's clothing against the dragons from the east. What a fairy tale this could be if Tianfeng Yaoguai comes out on top. It's very unfortunate that we only get 1 team from